Hey everybody, it's Bridget Benton Employment Solutions Discovery Tours for 2020, and I'm with Jason from 600 Kitchen.
Hi everyone, welcome to 600. I'm the executive chef, come on in. So if you'll notice, you see the really high ceilings. You'll see a lot of beautiful gridiron work that's actually been refurbished from back when we originally took over this place. We've been open for about 4 years now. So keep coming in, you'll see our mini farmers market that we have going on. In the fall, we're looking forward to bringing that back a little bit bigger, a little bit more with local vendors. Here at the 600 Kitchen and Bar, we really work with local vendors, Echelon Norm Carlson, Chris Country Acres, Sprouted Mushrooms, just to name a few. So it's really about immersing the community into our establishment. So over here is our beautiful bar featuring a lot of local distilleries, local beer, of course one of my favorites, Bell's. So over here is our main dining room. As you can see, 6 feet apart for everyone. Look at all this space, not too bad. And it does have a really good sunset at night, right above the checkers. Just a beautiful space. And if you can really walk this way, you can really see a really cool view of all the iron and the brick working together. So one of the most important jobs in the entire restaurant is the host stand, right? They control the flow of the entire restaurant. But also the host stand also has one extra step of precautions that we do. So we call it in papillote service. So we're actually gonna pre-sanitize your table before we even get to it. And then we're gonna bring you your silverware, your cups, and a little bottle of sanitizer to your table that's been sealed and cleaned the night before so that it has no cross-contaminations with it. So hopefully we can get rid of any COVID-19 issues. So follow me right this way. So then of course the next job that we could talk about right now would be the server. So they would come out, they would ask you what drinks you would want, they'd bring out the water pitcher for you. They really control the whole pace of the dining experience for you. So that being said, you know, they would give you the menu, they would ask you what you want, they would go over our specials, our daily specials, any drink specials that we would have. So we'll say it's a table of 2, so we'll come out, we'll go through, we'll sanitize everything down. And I would be wearing a mask for this. And then we go ahead and we put down your menus, and I'll grab some cups. So as you can see, all these have been sealed. We have little muffin tins on top, and then the servers would come out and bring you your glass of water, and then we'd also bring you a little salt and pepper if you needed it for your food as well. So we're really trying to take that care and that level of hospitality to the next level. It's something we really take important here, especially at the 600 Kitchen. So one of the great things we thought about is QR codes. So Crystal's gonna bring me up one. So you can either take your phone out and get the whole menu right on this card. You can take the card with you and it's easily sanitized, or we can also do paper menus. So that's what she's giving me right now. So you have the choice if you want to go contact free or if you want to have some interaction with paper menus today as well. I think it's super physical. I think there's a lot more steps in place. There's a lot more walking back and forth. There's definitely a lot more glove changing, hand washing, something that the front of the house has never really had to do before. It's always been kind of a back of the house job. So yeah, I would say there's a lot more steps involved in the front of the house service. But it's worth it in the long run to keep our patrons safe and to keep, you know, our employees safe as well. So I think to be a server, you really you go through a rigorous training manual. We train about all the different drinks. We have tests about all the different menu items as well. We do menu tastings every time we launch a new menu. So the server is really going to have to know. It's going to be kind of the Swiss Army knife of the restaurant. They're going to have to know everything. And if they don't know everything perfectly, we're more than happy to train them as well. The server should be able to know the basics of what's in every dish. For example, our scallop appetizer has almonds in it, so if there's an almond allergy, there's scallops, there's almonds in it and almonds in the sauce. So then that way they would work with the back of the house, so they would let the manager know. The manager would let the expo know, or the chef, whoever's in charge that day, and we'd work together to create a fun experience for them and also make them safe as well. That's really our highest priority right now.
Being a server or a bartender, I think is like a job anyone and everyone should have to do at some point, because it teaches you humility, it teaches you how to problem solve and multitask.
I agree.
And on the fly thinking, and I mean, interpersonal skills. You learn how to deal with conflict. You know, a meal isn't always gonna come out right. And you've gotta be able to say, sorry, even though it's not your fault. You didn't make it, but it came out wrong and it's okay. We'll fix it. This is how. And it's just like, it gets you so much further in life.
Let's say, example, there's some dirty plates here. They'll come, they'll grab them, they'll take them in the back on a tray, and then they'll just walk right back these magic doors, which is perfect segue into the dish machine. So as you can see back here, we have a sanitized table and a used table. So this will be full of sanitizer bottles, salt and pepper shakers, anything that has not been sent to a table. And then the used section is what gets sanitized, re-sanitized again as well. So we're really careful about not mixing and matching, so we're really covering those COVID backlines. Oh yeah, we do it with the pens. We essentially do it with everything in the entire restaurant to keep our employees and our guests safe. This is the infamous dish pit. With COVID, we have a lot of different regulations. So all our glassware will not be up top, it will all be down low. In between dishwashing, you have to change your gloves, you have to wear a face shield and a mask to watch for droplet, any cross-contamination. Right here is where that buster would go ahead and he would scrape his dishes into this giant guy right here. He'd scrape his dishes off right in here, and then he'd put them right here on this rack. So the way we've been running the dish machine is with 2 dishwashers every night. We have a clean dishwasher and a dirty dishwasher. That buster with the new job we created really helps on busy nights because they end up just taking care of all the clean dishes all night long. So the dirty dishwasher takes all the precautions. They would put on one of these amazing face shields, and they would essentially just start running things through here.
What kind of chemicals do they use?
So we use 3 different types of chemicals. We use heavy duty degreaser, we use concentrated rinse aid, and then we use a low temperature detergent. All these detergents and chemicals are taken care of by GFS, they're regulated, and we actually have people, maintenance come in probably once a month to make sure the chemicals are going at the right speed. And we also do testing strips to make sure we're not having too many chemicals. That way we make sure everyone's safe as well. So really easy, clean stuff goes this way. Dirty comes back through this way. It's not the most glamorous job, but it's a really fun spot to work, especially if it's your first time in a kitchen. You kind of get to see where everything goes. It's a lot of fun. It gets up to anywhere from 100 to 105. It's a really wet work environment as well. But we do mask breaks. We give a lot of employee breaks. We make sure they're hydrated. We offer Powerade on our gun to make sure they're getting electrolytes. It's something we take very seriously, especially to keep people cool in a hot environment like it is back here. So our dishwasher is usually trained by a veteran dishwasher, someone that's already been through all the different procedures we're doing. So they usually have 3 training shifts before we let them go to the wolves, as we say. But we give them like an easier night. So typically restaurants are usually busier Friday, Saturday nights. So we usually give them like a Tuesday or a Wednesday, so it's a little bit slower for them. Typically a dishwasher will move up to a prep cook. So as you can see, this is our little prep area. So we do a lot of prep projects right here. Break down salmon, whole primals of animals, glazes, dressings, you kind of name it. All our recipe books are here. All our seasonings are up on the wall. Right over here is the kitchen line. You'll see the horseshoe. This is Andy. Say hi, Andy.
Hi, Andy.
So this is where all the magic really happens. So not a lot of equipment back here. We have a double-decker convection oven, a fryer, a plancha grill, a regular grill, a stovetop, and then this is a giant heat lamp that runs down the middle. So this is really where the magic of creating some dishes come together. A lot of teamwork happens. We have about 4 to 5 people on the line at one time. Usually I'm right there on Expo putting out the really beautiful plates and the final touches on the dishes. We prep the vegetables actually on the line, so we don't have a lot of prep area, so we kind of move around to working on your stations. Yeah. So we have to be really clean, consistent, and concise in what we're doing here. So Bridget, this is a really good example of what we portion here at the restaurant. So these are our lamb ribs. So some other cooks will break them down, they'll trim them down. So these braise for about 18 hours, that's why they're so savory and delightful. So after we cut them down to the bone, then we portion 5 in each bag.
Okay.
So this is what we're talking about, simple portioning items. French fries, we go through about 3 cases every 3 days. So they would portion everything to 8-ounce bags. So we have portion guides already set up for them. So all they have to do is go right down the list, and essentially we just put a lot of things in bags. It's a really easy job, but it also lets you see the entire restaurant, and it helps them learn where things are.
And another fun fact about portioning is it saves the restaurant money. A restaurant doesn't know how much their cost is if they don't portion it, right?
Correct. So then if you put a number on this, so this is $4 a portion, then it makes people think about, oh, if I'm gonna over portion this, so it's really $4.50, so you're cutting into the restaurant's margins. And that's little things that we teach people, and they don't really understand they're learning that right away. But as they grow and they mature down the road, they pick that up and they're like, oh wow, we did learn more than that. Or how a rubber spatula can save you millions of dollars a year from scraping that little bit of mayonnaise out of every container. It's one of those things that people don't realize that does have a savings at the end of the year.
Right. I noticed dates on things here. What are the dates for?
So the dates are, everything has 7 days total to live. So this was made on 7/5. So that's 1 day, then you do 6 days after that. So today's its last day, so by the end of service today, we will throw it out. Then it will go on our waste log. So dates are super important. It's something that the health department really watches as well. So that's why you'll see a lot of blue painter's tape everywhere we go. This is the lifeblood of the kitchen. Health departments really like it. As you can see, they can go right down the aisle and see, oh, there's blue tape, there's blue tape, there's blue tape on that. So it really helps to make sure that we're keeping up on our stuff, but also that we're not over prepping or over portioning as well.
Yeah. If you were to start as a dishwasher, work your way to this, what could be next?
So next would be pantry, which is right down here. So pantry is where all our salads are made. So you'll see all these fun menus sticking around everywhere. That's so we know what we're putting on everything. So this is really what a salad cook, because essentially they're making 4 of the 5 salads we have on the menu. They're finishing off all the sandwiches coming off the hot side. So our signature lobster BLT, the hickory chicken, they're putting all the pimento cheese on that hickory chicken, the pesto aioli. They're building the sandwich sets, which also works in timing with cooking, right? So then they're starting to know that, oh, if a chicken breast goes down, it's gonna take 8 minutes to cook. Then they prep up what they need for it, and then we put the chicken on hot and it's ready to go.
You're making me hungry.
Oh, you should be hungry. We're in a kitchen, right?
So what would be next? Is that
So
the grill
typically,
cook?
yeah. So typically you would work your way to the other side. So come right this way. The other side is a grill cook and a saute cook. So saute is really means like to cook something 30 seconds hot in the pan, right? So you're talking about a lot of mussels, pastas, and you can also feel how the heat's rising, right? So this station is the hottest station in our entire restaurant. Last week it clocked out at 130 degrees.
Oh, wow.
So this is one of those stations that's a higher paid, more skills go involved because you have to learn fundamentals from cooking, which you would learn on your way up to here. So, you know, a lot of timing, we're cooking a lot of seafood, a lot of steaks. We have a Michigan cut that sells for $42 a piece. A lot of money is on this side.
It's delicious.
So it's a lot of work, but it's one of those stations where you have a really good night, it's pretty amazing, right? And then finally, the final job is my job, right? So it's right at the expo station. We literally put up the beautiful plates, we finish the garnishing. We're in charge of all the ordering, the scheduling, and putting on those final touches that really give it that signature 600 look. So really tight quarters, really hot back here, but it's one of the most rewarding jobs I've ever had in my entire life. I've been with it for 20 years, so I'm not going anywhere. And now we're going right to where the heart of all the food comes from. So this is where all the food runners, the expos are. So literally they'll get tickets that come in and we'll tell you exactly what the tables order. So if there's anything like, they're in charge of getting all the condiments, salt and pepper, steak knives. If it's our signature 600 ramen, they have to get the chopsticks, the knife, the spoon. They have to make sure all the right ingredients are on there, including the ramen egg, which sometimes the back of the house forgets. So it's really, you know, they control the whole pace. So if a table orders 3 courses, they're the ones who have to time it out to make sure that customer is ready for that next course so we're not rushing them through their night. Because we're trying to give a really great hospitality experience here. That's why we work really well in front and the back of the house. We work as a team, we're very linear. So we make sure that we're communicating well with everyone. And then also you'll see seating charts. The seating charts will tell you where exactly every table is. We do universal seating, so every chair is a 1, and then you go around the table 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's kind of like magic how the food lands to the right customer. And that's something we train everyone. We also train people on portioning all the sauces. We have plenty of different sauces. Down here, ketchup, green goddess, garlic aioli, which is our staple here with a side of fries. So it's really about time management and organization over here. You really have to be really strong at organizing and then carrying trays. So the trays can carry anywhere from 15 to 20 pounds depending on what's on each tray, and making sure we're watching those sanitation guidelines as well. Yeah, so the food is actually going out on trays like this right now. But to take that extra precaution right now, we're also putting lids on every plate that goes out. So the lids are going out as well, so it's kind of a little bit of a balancing act too. So we will do, test runs with new food runners to make sure they can carry the trays, to make sure they're not, scared on their first day. Because it can be kind of challenging walking to a table with a tray and shaking a little bit too.
Yeah. So now we're sitting down with Vicki Finnis, the marketing director for Millennium Restaurant Group.
Hi, Bridget, thank you for having me.
We saw in the kitchen, we saw out at the front of the house. What other jobs exist in Millennium?
Well, so very similar to what 600 has to offer here, those opportunities would also exist at any of our other locations. I think where I see some of the most potential growth would be on our events side of things. We handle everything. We do have a catering facility that's at Midlake Business Park. It's out off of Sprinkle. There we have handled events anywhere from 10 people to 10,000 people. So when I look at things like that, the opportunities would be, again, a prep situation. To go in and prep for 500 people, it's very methodical. One of the other aspects is we do so many off-site caterings. We have set up. If you think about the things to move tables, okay, go out and move 10 tables, move 100 chairs. Again, that repetitiveness, that would be a great job and a good learning opportunity to find out, hey, is events my thing? Is this something that interests me?
And is it year-round?
Yes, I would say our peak season is anywhere between that March through December, December being our most busiest time.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you. And just to reiterate what Jason had said, I mean, the connection, especially here with 600 and the community and your organization, we are thrilled to support.
Today we saw 600 Kitchen and learned all the different jobs that they have here today. So
we saw the bar, we saw the upper loft, we saw the main dining room, we saw the kitchen and the patio today, so all 5 different areas. We also learned about busing, the host, serving. We talked about the dishwashing and the different levels of cooks and how you can work your way up in a kitchen.
we really appreciate
Absolutely.
your time
Yeah.
and all of the energy and effort you put into this. It's really a love
Yeah.
and a passion that you show on a daily basis.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's with people like you in this community that help us make great teams that we have here. So we couldn't do it without you. And we're excited to have more of your employees come through.